Have you ever felt completely outmatched, like you're facing a giant in your life? Maybe it's a huge project at work, a personal struggle that feels impossible, or a dream that seems way too big to ever come true. We've all been there. Today, we are going to dive into one of the most famous stories ever told, the story of David and Goliath, and uncover how it's not just an ancient tale, but a powerful roadmap for overcoming the giants in our own lives. Picture this: the army of Israel is paralyzed with fear. For 40 days, they've been taunted by a champion from the enemy side, the Philistines. This isn't just any soldier. This is Goliath. He's described as being over 9 feet tall, a literal giant. His armor alone weighed more than a grown man. He was a walking, talking war machine, and every morning and evening, he would march out and dare anyone to fight him one-on-one. The stakes were high. Winner takes all. If Israel's champion won, the Philistines would become their servants. If Goliath won, Israel would be enslaved. And for 40 days, not a single Israelite soldier, not even their king, Saul, who was head and shoulders taller than any other man in Israel, dared to step forward. The fear was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Now, let's switch scenes. Miles away, in the quiet fields near Bethlehem, a young shepherd boy named David is going about his day. He's the youngest of 8 brothers, so he gets the job no one else wants: watching the sheep. It's a lonely, thankless job. While his older brothers are off being soldiers, he's out in the wilderness, protecting a flock of animals from predators. He's not in the war room. He's not training for battle. He's just a shepherd. He's completely off the radar. His own father, when asked to present all his sons to the prophet Samuel, initially forgot to even call David in from the fields. That's how insignificant he seemed. One day, David's father sends him on an errand. "Go check on your brothers at the battlefront," he says, "and bring them some food." So David packs up some bread and cheese and heads to the valley where the army is camped. He arrives right at the moment Goliath is doing his daily taunt. David sees the giant, hears his defiant words, and is shocked. But he's not shocked by the giant's size. He's shocked by the army's fear. He looks around at these trained soldiers cowering in their tents, and asks a simple, profound question: who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Notice the difference in perspective. The soldiers saw a giant they couldn't possibly defeat. David saw a man who was disrespecting his God. Their fear was based on what they could see with their eyes. David's faith was based on who he knew his God to be. He wasn't focused on the size of the problem. He was focused on the size of his God. This is the first major key for us. What are you focusing on? Are you staring at your giant, letting it fill your entire vision? Or are you looking past the giant to the power and promises of God? When David's older brother hears him talking like this, he gets angry. He accuses David of being arrogant and just wanting to watch the battle. It's easy for others, even those close to us, to misunderstand our faith and dismiss it as pride. But David isn't deterred. His words get back to King Saul, who finally summons this brave young man. Saul looks at David, a teenager with no armor and no military experience, and says, "You can't go fight him. You're just a boy, and he's been a warrior since he was young." And this is where we see the secret to David's success. This is the moment where his hidden preparation is revealed. David responds to the king, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Think about that. While everyone else saw a shepherd boy, God was training a giant slayer. Those lonely days and nights in the wilderness weren't wasted time. They were his training ground. Every time he faced a lion to protect his flock, he was building courage. Every time he fought off a bear, he was honing his skills and, more importantly, deepening his reliance on God. He had a history with God. He had seen God's faithfulness in the private battles, so he had no doubt God would be faithful in this public one. What are the lion and bear moments in your life? The small, unseen challenges you face every day? Don't dismiss them. Those are your training grounds. The discipline you build in private, the integrity you maintain when no one is watching, The faith you exercise in the small trials, that is the very preparation you need for the giants that are up ahead. Public victory is always the result of private preparation. Convinced by David's testimony, Saul finally agrees. He tries to put his own royal armor on David, but it doesn't fit. It's too big, too clunky. David takes it off. He says, "I can't go in these, because I'm not used to them." He chose to be himself. He wasn't going to win by trying to be someone else, by using someone else's tools. He was going to win with what God had already given him. So, David walks down into the valley to face the giant. He doesn't have a sword or a spear. He has his shepherd's staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones he picked up from a stream. That's it. When Goliath sees him, he laughs. "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" He roars. He curses David and promises to feed his flesh to the birds and the wild animals. But David's response is one of the most powerful declarations of faith in history. He shouts back, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day, the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." David didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. The Bible says he ran quickly toward the battle line to meet Goliath. He wasn't hesitant, he wasn't fearful, he ran towards his giant. He put a stone in his sling, swung it around, and let it fly. The stone sank into Goliath's forehead, and the giant fell face down on the ground. David then took Goliath's own sword and finished the job. The battle was over in an instant. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fall, turned and fled. A shepherd boy, armed with faith and a few small stones, had saved the entire nation. So what's the takeaway for us? First, your perspective matters more than your problem. Don't magnify your giants, magnify your God. Second, don't despise your season of preparation. The secret battles you're fighting right now are equipping you for the public victories of tomorrow. Trust the process. Third, be authentic. Don't try to fight your battles with someone else's armor. Use the unique gifts, skills, and experiences that God has given you. Your sling and stone might look small to others, but in God's hands, they are more than enough. Finally, remember that the battle belongs to the Lord. Our job is to show up with faith, run towards the challenge, and trust that he will secure the victory. The story of David and Goliath isn't just about slaying giants. It's about a God who uses the seemingly small, the overlooked, and the unprepared to do impossible things. Whatever giant you're facing today, know that the same God who was with David is with you.